every draft has a lie. Every one. KJZ, Alan Hahn with Key. This draft has its lie. It always felt like Mac Jones was the lie. And now, of course, we were told, no. And we were making reporters say it. It was like we had Jeff Darlington on, and I literally was just looking at him like, say it, Jeff. And he couldn't. He stuttered. He was like, I don't believe it, but everything I'm being told is Mac Jones is going to the Niners. That is just a done deal. Everybody has been saying it, and apparently that's been the lie.
But why? But I don't understand why. See, like for me, when I'm watching something like that, I came off a vacation or whatever the case was, and I walked into this whole Mac Jones. I left. Mac Jones was the 5th quarterback. I came back.
Go 15th to the
Patriots. I came back. The
Patriots.
Jacksonville Jaguars were scratching their head on what they wanted to do. Yeah. I'm like, I'll never believe that, right? I'll just never.
Well, that's you.
Believe that.
But obviously, for weeks build up to a draft,
Alan,
there's a conversation, and there's a lot. And I've covered many drafts from different leagues. I've covered the NFL draft. I've covered the NBA draft. I've covered different leagues and drafts, and it's always the same story.
It's a cycle, though.
There's a lie in somewhere, and then on draft day, you realize we've been duped. And so 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776, because we want you to be part of the conversation here. The biggest lie that we've been told during the draft process, I'm telling you, I say it's the whole Mac Jones thing.
I have a problem with what Kyle Shanahan's saying. You move up to 3. You've identified a handful of guys that you think could potentially be there at 3, or somebody else would try and get up to 3 to take the guys that you've identified on your board at 3. So you jumped in front of people because you were sitting at 12, and you said, okay, if I don't move up into this space, those 3 or 4 guys are going to fall from 3 down to 11, and I'm done.
The first thing he identified there in that statement was we were looking for a starting quarterback. That's the very first thing was that. We are looking for a starting quarterback, so we moved up to 3 because we had the opportunity to do that. And now we thought we had somebody in mind, but now we kind of, after going through the process, we're not sure who it's going to be. Do you believe that?
No, because they are sure of the handful of guys that they are targeting.
So did they move up with a guy, definitely this guy is, we want him and we might not get
guys.
Because everybody thought
a couple guys.
Yeah, because everybody thought you can get Mac Jones where you were. You didn't have to move up.
That's why it's not Mac Jones. That's why it's not Mac Jones. The most intriguing quarterbacks in this draft are the guys with, I would call, the biggest question marks for people, which is, what is Justin Fields and what is Trey Lance? Those are the 2 biggest question marks at the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
But not for the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers that have it questioned. They know what it is, and they're willing to move up to get that because they have a veteran quarterback in the room who can bring those young guys along till such due time. When Kyle Shanahan said a starting quarterback, he didn't mean we're replacing Jimmy G this year, because the only people that were going to replace Jimmy G was either a la Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, or Deshaun Watson. Outside of those 3 quarterbacks, nobody else was replacing Jimmy G. So don't get caught up in his words and make it sound as though he wants to replace Jimmy G at the start of football season this year with a young draft pick.
Oh, no,
that's not the case.
But let's make it clear that they definitely plan to replace Jimmy G.
At some point, that's why they're going to draft a quarterback. But at some point means the future, not today.
Of course,
and that's okay.
But you don't draft somebody 3 to play 4 years from now. You draft them to play next year. If anything,
you can draft a guy 3 to play 2 years from now. You can draft a guy 3 to play 2 years from now.
As long as Jimmy G is performing, but if he's not, you know what happens there.
If Jimmy G gives you what he gave you,
and we know he gets hurt a lot.
Well, that's part of the problem is injuries. Injuries is part of the problem. You got to protect yourself. But if he gives you anything remotely close to what he did for the Super Bowl or to get you to the Super Bowl outside the 2 playoff games, you can live with that. The 2 playoff games, they took the ball out of his hands against the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. They took the ball out of his hands because he was getting ready to give it to the other team. So they said, no, you stand over here and hand the ball off. We're going to run the ball to the Super Bowl. If he makes the throw to Emmanuel Sanders.
And then that's obviously the time where he needed
the conversation isn't even being had today. If he makes that catch, that throw, and he catches it, we may not even be talking Jimmy G's no longer a San Francisco 49er. And that's okay that they're looking to replace him. What people got all excited about was the fact that they went from 12-3 and Mac Jones the name was popping. But as I said a long time ago, it's not going to happen. It's going to build up. Tomorrow, what are we, Tuesday?
Yeah.
By the time we leave this show this evening, we're going to hear something else. Wednesday, it's good. You're going to start to hear the truth a little bit more about what teams are doing and where they want to go. And by Thursday morning, the board will be set.
Adam Schefter also tried to clarify that he now says that the Niners view Trey Lance as the most intelligent quarterback, while Mac Jones is the most athletic in the pocket. And those are the two that they really like the most, and that's what they're trying to figure out.
I don't know how you can be athletic in the pocket, but okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, but it's certainly what Adam Schefter is telling us.